we finally know the lore, all of it, for this event and for Marvel Rivals Season 2, which has been getting a bunch of heat because of the ranked system and stuff that's been coming out recently, but we're not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about that, because if you guys see my videos, you know I probably only main support, so you know I could probably talk about it for days. But anyway, we're gonna talk about lore, because we finally finished the event. I spent a little bit finishing the event, so we finally had access to all the gallery cards, and we're gonna start with Storm, because she has a little bit of crush. She seems to have a little bit of a crush on our King T'Challa, which makes complete sense if you think about it for like a split second. And this honestly didn't tell me very much, like this little paragraph. Some of these like to give us a little bit of lore into like into the party, some of the drama, some of the like gossiping and intertwining of personalities of parties that these little descriptions like to do when you finish an event. When you finish these pages of events, but we just saw that Storm she's got a bit of a crush on Black Panther, and Black Panther maybe has a bit of a crush on her back, and she just kind of went up to him and was like, hey, you know, you want to help us retake Mars? And he was like, okay. And she's like, okay, what can I do to pay you? He was like, no. The king told me that he merely wished to have the chance to make up for previous regrets. Which Storm has no idea what that means, because this is a different Black Panther from a different universe, and she has no idea what that means, so she's like, I'm interested. So that leaves that open to maybe the next season, which maybe stuff will come from that. I don't know. But this little bit of an event also gave us a gallery card, which gave us a little bit of info with Magneto, because he was invited to the party. But actually, you know what? Before we go into the gallery, let's try and do this chronologically here, because we have Wolverine's perspective, we have Psylocke's perspective, we have a whole bunch of, we have Emma Frost's perspective of what went down with Ultron. But before this, I'm going into the last bit of the event where Namor tells us why he went to the party. He was basically persuaded and seduced by Emma Frost to go, but in exchange, Namor and his like people, his people would learn Krakoa's greatest secrets, whatever that means, and then he would gladly honor the deal they've struck until someone gives him reason to do otherwise. So of course, Namor being Namor, doing whatever is best for him and his people, actually basically just for him. He only cares about himself. We all know this. But then we can get to Magneto, because like that gallery card said, it mentioned Magneto. And he was there at the party, obviously, because he was one of the council members who allowed the party to happen in the first place. And we have a little lore of the battle within, because he had gone to defeat Ultron, because he, you know, it magnetizes and uses metal, so he was like, I can beat Ultron easy. And then he tries to beat Ultron's little people, and he sort of like swats them away, and then he finds the real Ultron, and the real Ultron is like, I'm not made of regular metal, I'm not bound to your magnetism. And so he like scars and kills Magneto. But because of the Cerebro, because of Cerebro having regenerative abilities, it regenerated Magneto they made a clone of him, basically. He resurrected using the power that this new Cerebro has, that Scarlet Witch created, that that Emma Frost is using. So it's like everything's coming together. Everything's coming together at this party. Captain America is like, Magneto, no! For some reason, they're on the same side. I've never seen them on the same side. But Magneto is like, Captain America, it's fine. I'll be right back. And then he literally was right back. And then Ultron was like, hey, I thought I killed you. What the heck? What was this? What is this? What is this? What's going on? I want part of this. I want this. I want a resurrection. And so Ultron obviously goes to get Cerebro, because of this amazing power, and that's why he wants it. But this is super cool, because Ultron, in trying to, because he knows Magneto's a threat, so in trying to destroy Magneto, he doesn't want to destroy Magneto because Magneto is very powerful, and Ultron recognizes this, and so he uses little nanobots that he flies into Magneto's body and basically tries to take control of Magneto, and it's working. And it's working like crazy. And Magneto is like, I can't even, they're not made of correct metal that I can magnetize. So he can't expel them from his body. So what he decides to do to stop himself, as he goes to Charles Xavier's statue, trying to talk to him. And then he doesn't know whether or not it was a hallucination or anything, but he's like, no, it's not going to end this way, Magneto. And so now, having a renewed sense of urgency, Magneto then uses the iron in his blood to slow the flow of the nanobots. and so he can try and fight Ultron once again, but with slow. But I can only imagine that it would feel. I don't know. I don't want to imagine that. But going back to Cerebro, now that we finished the event, we can go here and here to the gallery, over to the final picture. And reading this, I assume this would be like the introduction of Vision. I was like, oh my gosh, Vision is gonna come back, is gonna come into Marvel Rivals. But no, that's not what's happening. This is the lore as to how Ultron is coming into Marvel Rivals and why he's becoming a playable character as a support. Mainly as a support. Specifically, because Tony Stark realizes, being one of the most brilliant minds in Marvel, the universe, he recognizes that we can't like stop Ultron because he's miles ahead of us in terms of steps. Like, he knows what we're gonna do because his processing power is incredible, because Tony built it. So Tony was like, okay, I could make Vision. Basically, he didn't say that. He was like, I could make a robot like Ultron again, but try and make him good. But then Ultron could be like, and like totally hack into him and make him a bad guy again. And then he would have all this information about mutants and how to like Tony Stark's Industries and Avengers stuff. And Tony's like, okay, that's not a good idea. So he thought what would be a good idea is to take a husk of Ultron, one of the bodies of Ultron that they destroyed, that Ultron isn't currently in. So it's just like a case of metal, basically. That's like an empty body, and he like plugged himself into it, and so then he brings Ultron back. He brings Ultron back, but with safeguards to make him obedient, basically, and good. Make him on the good side. Make this particular Ultron, this one suit, good. And it worked. Well, it worked. Well, I mean, it didn't say if it worked or not, but I only assume because Ultron is coming into season 2.5, which I only assume we're gonna get more lore into. But this is super interesting. I love this stuff. Like, I love this is the creation of how Ultron is coming into Marvel Rivals, because this is the Ultron with all of the art of him being in the game. So I only assume this is how it happens, right? Or maybe he'll be taken. Maybe he'll be the first hero to be taken away from Marvel Rivals, as I don't know. Actually, I doubt that would happen. Actually, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Marvel Rivals would take him out as a storytelling technique to say, oh, he betrayed you, so he's not going to be in here for the next half season until Tony Stark can fix it, story-wise? I don't know. That might be an interesting thing to do, Marvel Rivals. I might be on board with that. Even though I'm definitely going to be playing Ultron. I'd be sad if he was taken away. But that's all really soon to be talking about any of this stuff. But this party lore is amazing. I love that with each of these gallery cards, and that there were 4 different little events with all sorts of different gallery cards and hero lore that had opened up in these weeks that you could read and find out what's going on in this season is fantastic. I think with so many different POVs of the party, it's like if you've ever seen Arcane, you know how in season 1 episode 3 when Powder like destroys everything, there's like a POV of everybody's like view of the explosion. Like it's that thing. It's everybody's POV of Ultron's destruction of the party, and it's fantastic. I love that stuff. I love a catastrophe so big that there's like a million different POVs of the disaster and how people are coping with it, how people are actively contributing to it. It's fantastic. I can only assume, I can only hope that this Ultron will be able to have the processing power and able to outmaneuver the bad Ultron. But that's going to be it for today's episode, and that's going to be it for your discussion, for the discussion of the comments, which I hope we'll be able to do. I mean, they're gonna have to, right? Because their game's gonna keep going. Ultron just can't kill everybody, and that's it, because then there'd be no game. I mean, I've said that in a couple other lore videos, but anyway, that's where I'm gonna leave this episode before I keep talking for the rest of time. But subscribe, comment down below if there's any more lore that I missed or that you have any more insight to. Please let me know down in the description, down in the comments. Like, where's Charles Xavier? I hope he's gonna come into the fold at some point because he keeps getting mentioned and he's not here. Like, why is that? I don't know. But anyway, that's all for today's episode. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.